So the way I started looking into the whole social media angle was I was at a press conference back in June when they were talking about the drag racing and drifting,
Mhm.
and Interim Chief White mentioned that they have about 150 intel specialists who monitor social media, and I was like, oh, that's a big number of people. 150
Right.
is not that's not a small number of people to be monitoring social media. And then I started going through these facial recognition reports that they send to the Board of Police Commissioners every week, and there's a section on the report every week that says source of probe image. Basically, the way facial recognition works, they take a picture of someone and they run it through their system to see if it matches with camera footage or
Mm.
any other photo that they can match to this person. There was some stuff they were really transparent about, right? Like, obviously they want to ensure that people know they're not trying to infringe on First Amendment rights. They wanted to know, hey, we're using this tool mostly for violent crimes, part one violent crimes. Um, but aside from that, like, there's still a lot of unknown. Um, there's
Right.
stuff that they weren't willing to be transparent about because, in their words, it might hurt their practice of law enforcement if, you know, if the criminals that they're monitoring know how they're being monitored, it might tip them off.
Do they have a way to show that, like, because we're monitoring people's social media, we were able to stop this crime or solve this crime? Is there any anything
Uh,
that supports that?
the short answer is we don't know. Part of it is because when I asked for a number of arrests where social media were used in the investigation, they didn't have that number on hand.
Do law enforcement agencies get any sort of special treatment from social media companies, or does this tool kind of lose its usefulness if I simply set all of my social media accounts to private? Would they have to send me a friend request in order to, look through my social media?
To my knowledge, they only look at what's publicly available. Now, if your account is private, I do believe there is a way. Um, I think there are ways around that, but I don't know to what extent DPD would ever feel the need to use that. Because at that point, they're using other tools to investigate you other than what you post online.
Who are the people who are looking through everybody's social media?
That's a good question. I don't have the number breakdown as far as how many are civilians and how many are officers, but the unit does comprise both. There are, sworn officers, obviously, who are looking into this, and I would imagine they probably have more investigatory backgrounds. But then there's civilian members of that unit who, for them, they're not cops. They work with the department, obviously, but they're not going to be able to pull someone over for a traffic violation. They don't have a gun and badge, basically.
So are these people who are looking at the social media of, I'm assuming, primarily Detroit residents and things like that, are they from the city of Detroit? Are they a part of the communities that they're surveilling? Is that
We don't know that, and that's one of the many challenges when it comes to thinking about social media in policing. I actually talked to Desmond Patton, who has studied the impact of social media in policing in cities like Detroit and Chicago. And one of the things he was telling me is that a lot of the investigators who are looking through social media, they don't have the necessary context to really understand uh, just the lingo and the slang and the terminology that young Black and brown people use on their social media. So that can make it, quite difficult to use it as an investigatory tool because, if you don't speak that language, if you're not familiar with these terms, that already creates a distancing and a misunderstanding.
is there any legal recourse for someone who might be involved with something like this?
So right now, like I said, when I talked to Eric Williams at the Detroit Justice Center, he said there isn't any sort of legal maneuver that can help you not be monitored at this point. Uh, I think the phrase he said was the law hasn't caught up to the technology yet. Until they make a mistake and arrest the wrong person, and that might have happened already. We don't know, but until
Right.
that sort of thing becomes public, um, there's no legal recourse for someone at that point.